In Spokane, Washington, on October the 4th, 1978, two utility workers made a shocking discovery. They found the body of a teenage girl under some power lines. She wasn't fully dressed and had bruises all over her body. Her clothes had been used to strangle her, and she had marks all on her hands indicating that she had attempted to fight back. The girl was identified as 16-year-old Krisann Baxter. She had run away from home, and her case would remain a mystery for decades. Police couldn't find her killer, and the case went cold. But after 45 years, new science helped to bring answers. Krisann had been adopted as a baby. She was raised in an average home. Her family remembers her as a rebellious, fun-loving teenager who liked hanging out with friends and going to carnivals. She also liked to write in her diary. In her writings, she mentioned babysitting, talking about boys and hitchhiking, which back then was seen as a normal way of life. Krisann and her mother often argued. After one fight on September the 26th, 1978, she left the house and didn't come back. Her mom reporting her missing, but 4 days later her body was found. The two workers who discovered her were extremely upset. Police arrived and took a closer look. Krisann was laying on her back. Her shirt was pulled off and her bra had been torn off and used to choke her. Her shoes were missing. At first, no one knew who she was, but later police matched her to a missing person report. Her brother had to identify her body. He cried when he saw her. The family was heartbroken. An autopsy showed Krisann had been attacked. The police collected evidence, hair, fingerprints, and samples from her body. Her family held a funeral. Her brother remembers they buried her on his birthday. It was a painful time, and the family later moved away from Spokane. People even called their house pretending that they had killed Krisann. How horrible is that? It was cruel and it was scary. A man told police he might have seen Krisann hitchhiking with a white man near a truck before. It gave police some clues, but they didn't have a name. Her diary showed that she had hitchhiked before, so it seemed likely that she might accept a ride from somebody who was dangerous. But still, no suspects were found. In the early 1980s, police checked into many people. They interviewed her friends and tracked down some possible leads, but none panned out. Then in 1984, a well-known serial killer by the name of Henry Lee Lucas said he killed Krisann. He gave details that seemed to match the case. Police believed him and even charged him with murder. But later, DNA showed that he was lying, just like he had so many other times in other cases. So the case went cold again. In 2006, police tried again. They tested Krisann's body for DNA, and using newer tools, they found male DNA in her mouth and put it into the system called the CODIS system. CODIS helps match DNA from crime scenes to people in the system, but no one came up. It was frustrating. By 2019, police decided to try something new: forensic genealogy. This science was used for family trees and public DNA websites to find people related to suspects. They had a sample from the crime, but they believed they could use it to trace the killer's family. A lab called Orthram worked on the case. They carefully processed what little DNA was left. It was just enough for one test. That test created a detailed DNA profile. Genealogists used it to look for distant relatives, and then they built that family tree to narrow it down. Soon, they had a name: Keith Douglas Lindblom. Detectives learned that Lindblom had been living in Spokane in 1978. He had once committed a horrible assault with another man on a 15-year-old girl, just 1 mile away from where Krisann's body was found. That victim survived and both men were arrested. Lindblom served some time in prison but was released in August of 1978, just 2 months before Krisann was killed. The problem was, Lindblom was dead. He died in 1981 in a house fire, and he had been cremated. There was no body left to test, but detectives tracked down his daughter and asked her to give a DNA sample. If she matched half of the killer's DNA, that would prove that the killer was her father. She agreed. When her DNA was tested, it matched exactly how a father and daughter would. Lindblom's daughter shared half of her DNA with the killer. That was all the proof that the police needed. After 45 years, Krisann Baxter's case was solved. Her killer was Keith Douglas Lindblom. He couldn't be arrested or tried in court, but science finally found out the truth. Her relatives said that they were glad he was gone and couldn't hurt anybody else. They were thankful to the science and the detectives and everyone who never gave up. Krisann's family hopes other families in similar situations won't lose hope, because justice will come, just like it did for them.
They hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.